last class we have seen in the last class we have seen two types of arguments, keyword argument and the positional argument. Now we will see uh, default argument. In this type of arguments are the argument where we pass the value of the argument at the type of function definition. This is the default argument where the value of the argument is passed in the function definition statement. Here you can see in the example that check is the name of the function, and here we are passing value for b at the time of function definition. So inside the keyword argument we pass the value of the function, we pass in the keyword argument we pass the value of the argument at the time of function calling, and in the default argument we pass the value of the argument at the time of function definition. So inside function definition we assign a default value to an argument using the assignment operator in the Python in the function definition statement. And when we call a function without a value for an argument, its default value as mentioned is used. So remember it that when we call a function without a value for an argument, then its default value will be used. Now what is the rule? It will always we should always means we must always start making argument a default from the right hand side. Okay, so here it means to say that here a cannot be made as default argument without making b as the default argument. First we have to make b as the default argument, then only we can make a as the default argument. So in this example you can see that check third, when we call for the first time using check 30 20, we are passing both the values 30 and 20, both values are passed. So 30 will be pointed by a, of course, and 20 will be pointed by b instead of 10. So we are passing the value, so what value we are passing will be pointed by b. But in the next calling statement you can see that we have passed only one value, and this value is, of course, this value will be treated as a positional argument. So 30 will be pointed by a, but for the b we will take the default value 10. So in the next case we will get the output as 40. It is mentioned also in the first calling two values are passed, so work as positional argument, and a will point to 30 and b will point to 20. So we will get 50 as the output. And in the next case we are passing with single argument, only one value is passed, and in the function definition we can see that b is the default argument. So 30 will be pointed by a, and b will the value of b will be equal to 10. Let us see what is the next. We can pass all the three arguments in the single function also. So we are trying to get one output from the default argument. In this example you can see that we have made last as the default argument. Last is the variable which is make as the default argument. So whenever we will skip one variable in the argument, it is automatically going to take value as equal to 2. So for the let us start executing it. First the a will point to 20, b will point to 40. Then we have called the function. This is the first calling of the function. So here you can see that two variables are passed, a and b. So a means a will be pointed, or a is assigned to num, or we can say that a and num both will point to value 20. Since value of a or a is pointing to 20 initially, so a and num both will point to 20. And b, for b we are passing the value for b also. So instead of taking last equal to 2, it will take 4 for the b in the first calling statement. So using 20 and 4 we are going to execute this the function. We are using 20 and 4, we are going to execute the function. So statement to be executed a, b, num, and last. In the first we already saw that a 20 and b is 40, and then when the first function calling statement occurs, it is taking 20 and 4 as argument, and it is assigning num to 20 and last to 4. Since value of last is passed, which is default argument, value of last is passed, so we will take the passed value. Okay, so in this execution we will get the output as 20 and 5 after executing the statement inside the function definition statement. The output will be 20 and 5. Then the next statement is b is equal to b minus 1, so the value of b will decrease by 1, it will become 4. And then the second function calling statement will occur. The second function calling statement, again two values are passed, a and b, so a is 20 and b is 3. With this value we will execute the function. Num will take the 20 value and last will take the 3 value, and so we will get the output as 20 and 2. See, in the last function calling you can see that only b, that is only one variable is passed, and b has value 3, so it will go to the num. When we pass only single variable, it will go automatically to the positional argument, and here the positional argument is 1. So b, value of b which is 3 will go to num, and last will be equal to the default, that is equal to 2. So with the value 3 and 2 last in num will work. With the value 3 and 2 num and last will work, and thus we are going to get the output as 3 and 3. So the final output will be 20 and 5, 20 and 2, 3 and 3. So this is all the execution of default argument. Now as I said, we can pass all three types of argument inside a single function. We have to take care of some rules, that is the positional argument must not follow keyword argument. Positional argument should be used first, should be defined first, and then the keyword argument. And we should also take care while making the default argument that it is always started from the right hand side only. We have to start making arguments default from the right hand side only. So in this example you can see that 10, 20 are the positional arguments. In this example you can see that 10, 20 are the positional arguments, d and c are the keyword arguments, and e is the default argument. In this calling statement you can see that only 4 values are passed, so the e will be treated as the default, and 10 will be pointed by a, 20 will be pointed by b. Since these two are the keyword argument, we can change the order of these arguments, keyword argument. So we can change the order of argument of c and d, and so we have changed here order. And since e is not passed here, so it will take its default value, that is 10. Okay, in the second example also you can see that we have printed a value of each argument, and c, in this case we have made two arguments as the default argument, d and e. d and e means at the time of function calling we can skip two arguments, because we have passed two argument as the default argument here. And here in the function calling we have skipped only one argument. Here in the function calling we have skipped only one argument, that is, so it will automatically take e as the default argument. Okay, 10 will be assigned to a, b, b, 20 will be assigned to b, or 20 will be pointed by b. Since we have since c and d are the keyword arguments, so it can be interchanged, and we are passing the value of the d. So instead of taking 200, it will take 100 as the input for d. So you can see the output. In the next case we have skipped two arguments while calling the function, so d and e both will be treated as the default argument. Okay, so let us move to the next slide. Passing immutable values as arguments. Since now we are passing passing immutable values, we all know that what are the immutable values. Immutable means string, integer, float, and these are the immutable values. So the value which cannot be changed at the runtime are known as the immutable values, and here we are passing the immutable values as the argument. Now what is the purpose of this slide? Actually you can see that we in the here x is equal to 90, we have assigned x is equal to 90. Before of calling the function we printed the value of x. Now we called the function, and and inside this function you can see that we are trying to change the value of x, or the value of the passed variable, and we are trying to increase it by 2, and we have after increasing we have printed its value inside the function itself. So inside function we are getting the output as 92. So while function returns the control back to the calling statement, after the last statement, while the function returns back control to the calling statement, there is one print statement, that is value of x after function calling, and here we are getting the value of x is equal to 90. So you can see that after function calling we are getting the value of x what it was before function calling. So whatever changes we made inside the function is not going to reflect to the immutable objects outside the function. So when we pass mutable object, then what happens? See, when we pass mutable object, we know that the mutable object of the list maybe the dictionary also. So here we have taken one example with the list. I am passing a list, x is a list with the single variable say 90. We are passing that list, and we are what we are doing inside the function, see, we are passing the list before function calling. Of course it is going to give us the output as 90, which is the list element. We are going to get the list elements as the output, and here since the single element is there, so we are going 90 inside the square bracket. Now in the second statement, which is the calling, what we are doing, we are passing the list to the functions, and after passing the list we are increasing the elements of the list by 2. Here using the for loop we are increasing each element by 2. Since here only single element is there, we are increasing the value by 2, so we will get 92 as that element. So here when we print the value of x inside the function, we will get the increased element, that is the 92. And when we print the value of x or the value of list or the elements of the list outside the function, what we are going to get? When we print outside the function the value of list, we are going to get the changed value for the elements. See, here you can see that we are getting changed value for the list of elements, that is the 92. So this is the basic difference when you pass mutable and the immutable object. Immutable objects are not going to reflect, but the mutable objects are going to change its value if we do any changes inside the function definition. So this is the basic difference which I wanted to tell you. Even you can insert more values inside the list inside the function. So let us see the next topic. Before function calling, inside function calling, and this is after function calling. The value we are going to get is the changed value. Okay, so passing dictionary as the argument. Earlier we have passed list as the argument, which is the mutable object. Similarly, dictionary is also a mutable object. We are trying to pass it through the function. See, we have declared one empty dictionary here. X is the empty dictionary, and what we are doing, we are calling the function first. Check dict is called first here, and inside the check dict we are taking a value for the key. Again we are taking a value for the value, and inside that key, inside the d is the pass dictionary, and so inside that key here, d of key, we are taking the value as v. So one element will be created inside the dictionary with the key as provided in the x and value as provided in the v. So after inserting one key, dictionary will be the key value dictionary, whatever is with this. And when we display it, we are going to get this key value inside the function. Okay, so here see, initially the dictionary was empty. After first calling, see, the value of the dictionary is 8:9. Similarly, in the second calling you can also take another value. You can also give value for in the second calling also you can give value for key and value, and thus you can get second element inside the dictionary. Here the first element is 8:9. So let us see what is the next. Passing dictionary as argument. So we have already read it. Here we have done execution for the second calling also. That was for the first calling. Now we are doing it for the second calling. See, here we are taking value for the second calling, and we are taking value for the second calling, and then we are then inside the function there is one statement. After inserting one dictionary, we are getting the value as this, and outside function also we have written the same statement. So in outside the function also we are going to get the changed dictionary. The inserted elements are the elements are inserted inside the dictionary. So whenever we pass the mutable objects and we do any changes inside the mutable object, it is going to reflect its original value also. Okay. So this is the one output which we should try a function to find sum of all number value present in the list. Here we are trying to find the sum of the numbers. See, we have printed the sum. Here you can see that we are trying to get the sum of all integer elements of the list actually. So we need to check for the instance of the element, that whether it is integer or not, or whether it is float or not, so that we can get the numeric value and we can find its sum. If it is a string value, then no need to get the sum. So for the numeric value we are finding the sum and we are printing the sum. So here we are printing the sum of the numeric values, and you can see as in the output we have taken some inputs, and the inputs in the input we have 5, 8 and 8.9 as the numeric values. Here it is the list, so it will not going to add these elements. Okay, so for the rest 3 elements numeric value we are going to get the output as 21.9. If you want to add the nested list elements, you can again check for the instance of this element. If it is the list, then again you have to make a loop and you have to iterate one elements one by one, and you have to sum it inside the sum variable. Okay, so this is for the practice. Please try it at home, and we will see the rest in the next slide.